call. Mike Wolf alongside Liz Tortorello-Nelson. Minnesota and Penn State about to face off. Third week of the Big Ten women's volleyball conference season. Both teams come in at 3-1 in the Big Ten. Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you tonight by Tachi Caro, Whitman, Santana, Wilhite, Dixon, Tappan, Palmer. Morgan Bull will be the libero for the Golden Gophers. And the starters for the Penn State Nittany Lions, the reigning Big Ten champions, as we take a look at the starters on the floor for this Penn State team. McClendon, Courtney, Grant, Scott, Harding is the DS, Hancock, and then the libero off the bench will be Dominique Gonzalez for Penn State. Mentioned that these two teams met in the regional final in West Lafayette, Indiana a year ago. The trip to the NCAA semifinal was on the line. Penn State won in 4 sets, but that was a tight match between these two teams.
Very exciting match. It's going to be a great one tonight, fans. Big Ten community is all tuned in to watch this battle at Rec Hall.
Rec Hall, one of the premier venues in all of collegiate volleyball. And the newly anointed wrecking crew, the Penn State student section, in full effect this evening. Penn State been so good at home over the past decade. However, they have already dropped one Big Ten match at home this season. They lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten opener. They do not want to drop another one on their home floor, and it's tough for them to do that when they have Micah Hancock back to serve, the nation's leader in aces. First chance for Sarah Wilhite on the left side for the Gophers. Hancock will go to Scott. As our first look at Morgan Bull out of the back row. Too much in the first point. No, they'll call a touch. The touch off Penn State, so Minnesota goes up 1-0.
It's a great play by Minnesota using their back row attack option. You're going to see that a lot tonight on both sides of the net.
The tip from Slay will fall. First point for Penn State. Katie Slay in the middle for the Nittany Lions.
She's gone for a 31 there, away from the middle blocker of Tap, so it's an easy shot for her right over the block.
Out of system, Whitman with a back set to Santana and a roof.
Wow. It's a nice way to get going. Nice way to pump up your team for Katie Slay. She had a great weekend this past weekend against Purdue. 8 blocks. If you notice here, she stays tough in this rally, gravitates over to that outside hitter and puts the ball away.
Goes off the hands, and the whistle goes against Minnesota, and the point to Penn State. Penn State and Minnesota, two of the best blocking and hitting teams in the Big Ten and all of the nation. As Penn State takes news, insight, and information on Big Ten volleyball. Deja McClendon back to serve for the Nittany Lions, the senior out of Louisville, 3-time All-American for this Nittany Lion team. And the overpass created, but they're going to say that Slay did not give the setter a chance to get at it, and so the point to Minnesota.
Everyone talks about this play. The ball lands right on top of the tape, and it's up to middle blockers being aggressive and going after the ball, but it's really up to that official which way they're going to call it.
Scott finds a space in the floor.
High over the hands, drop it right in the middle of the court. Great back swing right there. She snaps high with the wrist. She sees that open court and just places that ball in there.
Good effort in the back row by McClendon. Scott now on the right side, off the hands, and the point to Penn State.
You'll see a lot of roll shots happening right now on both sides of the net. They're going up, they're not really going off speed, Mike. Their arms are just getting warmed up. Eventually, as we hit 10 points, 15 points, they're going to start ripping it.
Dixon with her first swing in the middle for Minnesota. Scott with another, and that's her 4th kill already.
Keep setting her. She's doing well on that right side pin. They don't have an answer for her right now, especially she's not going full speed. She's going half speed.
2012 Big Ten Player of the Year and two-time All-American and Ariel Scott. Now Dominique Gonzalez still serving for Penn State. Courtney able to go around the block, and another point for the Nittany Lions. Gophers need an answer.
Great space for Megan Courtney. The set is high and off the net just the way she likes it. Big swing. She's able to see that full court in front of her.
There's Dixon. And the kill will go for the libero in Gonzalez as she was able to get to that ball from Tori Dixon.
Boy, the crowd will really get pumped up on any good digs. Dominique did a great job of staying in position, just getting low, and got the opportunity for that ball to come back on the other side. Nice job by Dominique.
Not often that you see the libero kill, and Penn State's Dominique Gonzalez gets her first kill of the year. 8-2 start for Penn State in the first set. Long run for Micah Hancock, and right into the block of Minnesota. Triple block was there.
Nice block by Minnesota. Again, they're bread and butter. They're a great blocking team because of that triple block. On an off-system set, they will follow the ball and put up 6 hands, Mike, and get all over that attack.
Gophers lead the Big Ten in blocks this season, 2.76%. Right behind them, the Nittany Lions with 2.71. Courtney with a little too much power, but she does not get the touch call.
She's going for those high hands, and that's what you have to do as an outside hitter. You're going to have some errors right there, and I know Russ is probably thinking to himself, okay, let's give it a little bit of time. She's warming up her arm right now. She's really going for that high hit.
Sydney Howard in setting for Minnesota. She subs in to give them a bit bigger block over there on the right side. Whitman out of the back row into the block of Penn State. Good rally going here between these two top 15 teams. Dixon in the middle. And the block finally ends it for Penn State.
Long rally. Great point for Penn State to stay with it. You want to win these long rallies. They were definitely convert, and they executed on that with Nia Grant in the middle with the hands over the net.
Nia Grant, a junior out of Ohio, second on the team in blocks last year for Penn State with 120, and that was the second block of the evening for the Nittany Lions. These two teams in those 3 matches last year just about even in blocks as Lacey Fuller checks in to serve. Over the block. Wilhite, the freshman with the kill for Minnesota.
Way to get in the groove for Minnesota. Wilhite does a nice job on the opposite side. She's really a strong outside hitter, but she's doing a great job from that right back position, keeping the ball in front of her.
Hugh McCutcheon said they like the passing from her, gives them a few more opportunities to get the ball to Dixon when she's in the back row. Maybe a little bit more powerful on the left side from Wilhite, but looked effective there on the right. Overpass created and the kill to Dixon.
This is what we were waiting for, the battle of the serves. And Santana does not fail right here. She keeps the ball in front of her. It's very hard to return this serve. If you know, she's got a lot of speed on that ball. Fast point opportunity for Dixon.
Mentioned before, Santana with 18 aces so far this year. Whitman with the tip. Penn State needs a side out to take away the serve from Santana, and they get it from Courtney.
It's a little different look right now for Courtney. She came on the inside and really used the tool, but the biggest deal right here is just keeping the ball up. Santana's got such a hard serve. You're not always going to get those three-point passes. What you want to do is make sure you give your team an opportunity for success.
There's Dixon on the slide. So effective she is on that play.
Totally effective. Great pass. The ball's going to Dixon. You've got to be prepared for that.
And she will head back to serve for the Golden Gophers. A senior out of Burnsville, Minnesota. Leads this team in kills. Hitting percentage, 5th in the nation overall in hitting percentage this year. And McClendon able to go off the hands of the Gopher block.
Big windup, had a lot of time to take a full spike approach. I felt like in the beginning of this match, Mike, a lot of tips, a lot of roll shots. We're going to start seeing a little bit more swinging.
Short serve from Nia Grant, and she gets the ace.
She sure did. Little off speed, forced the serve receive to come up, move their feet in front of them. It almost looks like a two-person serve receive right here. And you've got to track it fast.
Came into the night talking about Hancock and Santana, and the first ace comes from Nia Grant.
Well, she's doing well in the team in service aces as well.
Out of the back row, Dixon, a lot of power on that swing.
Back row attack option, they're going to find Dixon. She plays back there for a couple different reasons, and most importantly, for her back row attack.
A few words from Hugh McCutcheon. Palmer serving for the Gophers. Back to McClendon, mixes it up on the tip. Great pancake from Palmer. Continuing to look to McClendon, but it's out of play. Point to Minnesota.
You saw Hugh jump off the bench on that one, Mike. He was excited to see that because of great defensive movement by Palmer right there. It's just sticking her hands up to keep the ball alive for her team.
This was an 8-2 lead for Penn State in the first set. Now 12-9. Joust is won by Hancock. Ball still alive. One-on-one, Wilhite McClendon. There's Whitman in the back corner.
Way to find the edge by Whitman. Strong attack, but good job by Palmer, really mixing it up. Going against the grain, going to the right side pin, going to the left, making the blockers move.
Hugh McCutcheon trying to get out to his team, tell them where to set up as Ariel Scott checks back in for Penn State. Had those 4 early kills, but then rotated out. They go right back to her, and it results in a point.
It was a great double quick option. Slade went behind the setter for a quick attack where Scott was right there at a little bit of higher tempo. The blockers kind of hesitated, but she had a lot of seam to work with Scott.
Now Micah Hancock back at the service line. Scott into the block, out of play. No, they're going to say it went off Scott. The point to Minnesota.
Wow, it was still a great swing by using the block, but good job on Minnesota to hang tough in there. Solid block right there by Wilhite. It did touch her. Sometimes it's very hard to get out of the way. That ball's coming down fast.
Right on the hip of Scott, and out of play. They go to Katie Slay this time. And Penn State does get the point. Huge stuff, though, for Sarah Wilhite. A freshman going up against the Big Ten Player of the Year a season ago and gets that block.
Well, that's why it's so exciting in the Big Ten. As a freshman, you can show up on any given night and have a fantastic blocking.
Wilhite, the 2012 Minnesota Miss Volleyball selection, and Courtney into the floorboards.
She's just so fluid. She's got a great arm. She knows what's going on in the court. She went high into the seam. And she's even got Wilhite over there, but she had such a big seam to work with. It's tough to get that ball for Whitman.
Well, we talked about the Big Ten Player of the Year in Ariel Scott. The Big Ten Freshman of the Year a season ago was Megan Courtney, the sophomore, now out of Dayton, Ohio. And a look of her talking with Steve Aird, and the assistant coach for Penn State had a chance to talk with him this week. He said that Megan Courtney snuck up on teams last year. That's not going to happen this season.
No, everyone's prepared for this Penn State squad. They're all returning. So everyone knows what to expect except those freshmen coming in. I think their anxiety, just being nervous walking into this rec hall. But they're going to play up. They're all competitors. they're going to understand the scouting report, and they're going to try to get it done.
Well, head coach for Minnesota, Hugh McCutcheon, mentioned that his team might have had a little anxiety against Nebraska last Friday night, playing in front of 8,000 fans, and it's tough to go on the road in the Big Ten. The second-year coach who led the U.S. women's volleyball team to the #1 overall ranking and a silver medal in the 2012 Olympic Games in London in his second season with the Golden Gophers. And Minnesota in a tough stretch right now. 4 consecutive matches on the road, 3 of them against ranked teams.
He's such a great teacher of the game. I can't say enough about these 2 coaches right now up against each other. Their coaching strategies, but they're very fundamental based. They get the overall game, and they're so great for volleyball. So this is a great match, not only to watch the players, Mike, but also the coaches to see what they're going to do.
We had a look at 2 of the best teams in the Big Ten and nationally, as we mentioned. These 2 teams fought it out for a chance to go to the national semifinal last year. And you wouldn't be surprised to continue to see these 2 teams battle to go to potentially another NCAA semifinal or championship.
Well, definitely. They're all going to be in the mix, and they're going to have to face each other to get to that Final Four in Seattle this year.
Full serve from McClendon. Diving was Whitman. Slay will set it to Scott. And even the set from the middle works out for Penn State.
I love when middle blockers go up, put their hands up. I think every coach on the sideline usually cringes, but Slay does such a good job. She's got nice hands. She puts it up nice and high, and that's all you need to do as a middle blocker when you're setting.
And a whistle coming in against Minnesota on the double touch on the set.
I think Hugh can't believe it. It's hard. You know, officials rarely call setters on doubles. Rarely.
Back out to a 6-point lead for Penn State in the first. They were up 8-2 early. Minnesota climbed back in it. See if the Gophers have another run in there. The block is there for Slay and Penn State.
It's just so much fun to watch her. Granted, she's very tall, but she reads it so well. And the scouting report that they have, that Penn State has right now, is right on the money. They know exactly who they're going to set, and she's just waiting for them.
Katie Slay, 6'6", another senior for this Penn State team, has led the conference in blocks each of the past 3 years. Wilhite on the right side tools that block.
That was a great decision on Palmer to go against the grain and send it back to the other pin. You've got to make that middle blocker on Penn State move.
Second kill for Sarah Wilhite to go with 2 blocks and 2 digs so far. And Scott with the side out for Penn State.
So boom, she put some heat on that ball, kept the ball in front of her. But when you keep the ball in front of you, you can actually see the defense. So she does a nice job. She spots it out, goes away from the block, and went right through the seam. Nice job by Scott.
Technical term there, ba-boom, Liz?
I like saying ba-boom. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Scott hitting .545, but Dixon in the middle, she hits for a high percentage as well.
Very high percentage when the pass is on the target. When it's a 3-point pass, look for Dixon to go up strong. She shows the arm. Very easy to set. She's up there. Her arm is ready, waiting to swing.
5 kills for Dixon, hitting .500. Had a chance to talk with her this week, and she said she doesn't need any extra motivation to get excited about playing Penn State.
Who would?
Courtney, the block is there for Minnesota and Sydney Howard.
Dixon has her number right now, just waiting. I think Courtney's really trying to use her outside hand and do something with that ball. But Dixon, she even got faked out a little bit by Hancock right there and was still able to make the play.
You see why they make that switch, though, for Minnesota. Had to have Howard up there in the front row. Palmer much shorter, and Howard able to get up there on the block.
Well, Howard has such a better presence up there, not only because of her height, but because I think she knows how to read block real well.
And Scott with another. Morgan Ball, the libero, getting the start this evening. Could not control that ball.
She's getting some touches, but she's not converting on any of these dig opportunities. I think sometimes it takes a little bit more for a new libero to come into an atmosphere like this and feel sort of a rhythm.
Minnesota's happy to see Ariel Scott check out and head towards the bench. She has 8 kills in just the first set. Scott averaged 5.4 kills per set in those 3 matches against Minnesota last year. And Paulina Prieto, Sarah May is stuffed by the Minnesota block.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter because Palmer's in there blocking with Dixon, and I think Dixon is the answer right now. Big, strong hands, nice swing blocking to get those hands over the net.
Good job by McClendon to receive that serve. Out of play from Prieto Sarah May, so Minnesota back within 4.
And that was a nice pass going up there. Santana does a good job of getting some heat on that ball, but it's straight away. So Deja was able to control that ball right up to the setter.
Minnesota could really use a serving run right now, though, by Dolly Santana. We'll see if she goes after McClendon again. She does. Another good pass from McClendon. Here's Nia Grant. And the whistle will go against Morgan Bull on the double touch.
I think that was smart on Micah's part to stay away from the hut. I call the hut position. The hut set is all the way out to the left side pin. So it was nice to see her to feed it back to the right side pin to create some kind of opportunity for them.
21-16 lead in the first set for Penn State. 4 points from going up 1-0. And Whitman able to go off the block. Didn't put too much on it, though.
No, she didn't, but it was fast. It didn't give Penn State a lot of time to set up on that defense. She's got a fast arm, and sometimes you just got to rip it. Do a two-step, get up there, and swing as hard as you can.
Ashley Whitman, 8th in the Big Ten in kills per set. The senior out of Shakopee, Minnesota. McClendon tried to go to the block, but she went into the net.
It's hard. When you see big block up there, 4 hands covering the net, you're going to try to be crafty. And sometimes you don't need to be crafty. You just got to go up there, get your feet there, and swing high. The ball was way too out in front of her, and her feet weren't there.
8th attack error of the first set for Penn State. And Russ Rose wants to talk things over here in Happy Valley.
Get the last word before your team is ready for game day as we break down every big matchup and take you on campus for the latest updates. The BTN Football Report, presented by 5 Hour Energy. Friday, only on BTN. Tuesday night, our panel of Big Ten insiders debate the hottest issues in college football and discuss how the nation's biggest stories impact the conference. Big Ten football and beyond. Tuesday night, only on BTN.
Strong storm.
Z left flank. 18 slant.
499 Oscar.
Let's face it, football is complicated.
This stuff isn't easy.
He runs a 16-yard in cut.
A high corner route. You're going to pull your guard around.
They're going to start inside and read the secondary.
Block back with the center. And if that's muddy, we're going to outflank and hit this one.
In, under, check down. From the pregame show to the final drive. BTN definitely has you covered.
BTN Volleyball is brought to you by Tachikara. We've got the ball, you bring the game. Whiteout in Rec Hall for this matchup of 2 top 15 teams. Mike Wolf alongside Liz Tortorello-Nelson, and Penn State just 4 points away from taking the first set, but Minnesota has climbed back within 3. However, you just saw Ariel Scott check back into the match for Penn State.
They're having a hard time on that left side pin. Micah's really got to move this offense around, but she needs the pass to begin with to do that.
Hancock decides to go over on 2. Right back to Scott. And out of play, no dig for the Gophers, and the point to Ariel Scott, her 9th kill match.
Great decision to go to Scott. There's a reason why she's back there again. Another back row attack on the right side of the court. Very difficult to block. It's all about the timing, Mike. So the blocks need to wait, but she had that seam opportunity.
Scott had 25 kills against Minnesota in the regional final last year, but service error, which has been a problem for Penn State at times this year, gives a point back to Minnesota. Here's Slay, finds the opening.
Great decision on Micah. I know I've said this a couple times, but anytime she can find Slay up there for a fast ball, side-out opportunity, she goes behind the setter. Again, she's only one-on-one. A lot of court to hit into.
2 points from winning the set, and Hancock back to serve. Scott again, not even on the jump, gets it into the block.
She barely jumped. She went off one foot and just rolled it over the block. I think she's laughing about it too. She can't believe she did that.
That double figures in one set for Ariel Scott. 10 kills, usually what you would see in an entire match.
She makes it look so easy.
Whitman too much, and that does it in the first set on the attack air. Penn State wins it 25-19. Lions able to get the break there at the end. The serve from Micah Hancock getting the job done as Penn State leads it 1-0. And
that's what their coaches say. They want to get out of that gym with a win.
Hugh McCutcheon said you learn something about your team when they get into trouble. See what they can do now that they're in trouble here on the road in Happy Valley. First point, Katie Slay does not get it as Santana tracks it down, but a free ball. Right back to Slay, she terminates.
Great job on Slay. Kept it alive, but Micah went back to her the second time around. I'm sure Slay is saying, feed me the ball, give me the ball, I can put it down this time. Nice high reach. Very difficult to stop somebody with that high of a reach.
4 kills and 2 blocks for Katie Slay. Gophers out of system off the Hancock serve. Back to Slay, block is ready. McClendon with a good run up, but it's out of play, and the point to Minnesota.
Triple block up on Deja right there, and as an outside hitter, when you see 6 hands in front of you, you're going to swing, and sometimes you just swing at air, and the ball goes flying out of bounds that time.
And back to Slay.
You got to go with who's hot right now, and right now it's Ariel Scott and Katie Slay.
You mentioned that Slay had 8 blocks at Purdue. She also had 11 kills, hit 304. We talk about Dixon being number 5 in the nation in hitting percentage. Slay is just behind her at 7, hitting .461 on the year. Wilhite off the hands of the block for Minnesota, and she continues to play well.
She's doing a great job on the right side pin. Very disciplined, keeping the ball in front of her, sees those hands and go after it.
2 kills now for Wilhite as Bull will serve the libero for the Gophers, replacing Lindsay Lawmaster in that match against Iowa, and now getting the starting nod tonight. Santana rears back on one.
Good job. Fast, set out to the pin. Slay didn't have enough time to get up and gather herself. Slay's not a traditional, she's a traditional blocker. She's not a dynamic blocker. So she kind of stood still there. Great one-on-one opportunity for Santana.
Give and go, and Minnesota was ready for Katie Slay.
They sure were. They have a nice bunch blocking system where all 3 blockers are bunched in towards the center of the court. If you notice right there, very difficult for Slay to get around 6 hands.
4 blocks now for Tori Dixon. Last time she played in this building, she had a career high. The one-handed set to Scott. And there's Dixon with her 6th kill.
And that's what a dig opportunity can do for your team. Whitman did a nice job of digging that ball. There was no block up on her. She was right there and created an opportunity for Dixon to put the ball away. So I'd say focus on the defense on that end. Defense will get it done.
Over to Megan Courtney, the sophomore for Penn State with the kill.
Megan Courtney, really big backswing. Look how high she gets up and over that strong, tall block. Very impressive from that angle.
Russ Rose has called Megan Courtney an all-skills player with a very high volleyball IQ. Saw her skill to go hit seam on that last chance. Bump set from Gonzalez to Scott. Back to Dixon for another.
That was great play. Palmer, very patient. Off of a high dig as a setter, Mike, it's very difficult. When the ball is going way high in the sky as a setter, you have a lot of time before that ball lands on your hands. But Dixon is up right away, showing her arm. Nice kill.
the shoulder of the libero from Minnesota.
She just needs sometimes to get warmed up, I feel. The last hit she had was more of a roll shot. This time she said, I'm going to put a little heat on this ball.
She doesn't stay warm from set 1 to set 2?
I think she stays warm, but I really think some of these players ease into it.
If you're just joining us, 11 kills already for Ariel Scott in the start of the second set. Good dig by Whitman. Block ready for Dixon this time. The solo stuff for Courtney.
Great job on read for Megan Courtney, really figuring things out. And again, she does have a high volleyball IQ. She knows what's happening, and mostly because the person in front of her is the setter. And if that happens, she's got to follow the setter, and she's right there for the middle attack.
Looks like Mia Grant got an arm on that as well, but they go back to Dixon. Minnesota does, and they're up 7-5. Tori Dixon, 23 kills, a career high against Iowa, 7 blocks as well. And she said when her team went down 0-2 on the road at Iowa, the seniors, they talked to the rest of the team. They said, this isn't us. This isn't how we play. We need to compete better for every point. They did. They won that match. And you wonder if at the end of the first set, they might have had a similar conversation.
Definitely. I think they're all competitors. They all come from very strong programs. Even the freshmen, they know how to win. They're coming from state championship high school programs, club championships. They can compete, and they're tough.
Tori Dixon and Ashley Whitman, as well as several other Gophers out of that Northern Lights Club team in Minnesota. Learned a lot in their early playing days there, and a lot from their Minnesota coaches over their time. Kendall Pierce to serve for Penn State. Another chance for Dixon. She mixes it up. Whitman into the block, and Penn State puts it down.
Minnesota's doing on the defensive end, but also Micah sticking that hand out, keeping the ball alive, creating a nice opportunity for her team to get that block.
6 blocks now for Micah Hancock on the season. No block that time as off the high hands. Dixon gets her 9th kill. Back and forth here in the second set. As Penn State in the first went on a couple of runs, and Hugh McCutcheon said they have to be able to weather the storm against those runs that Penn State can make.
It's a side-out volleyball game, and this is traditional volleyball right here. Point for point.
McClendon is blocked.
This is where Penn State ran into trouble in the last set, Mike, when Dixon was serving.
So Hannah Tapp as well as Sydney Howard combine. Freshman and sophomore for the Golden Gophers. And Scott out of the back row flies for the kill.
Nice and high. The set goes right at that 10-foot line. So what you need to do is turn your foot in so you don't touch the 10-foot line. And you've got to really reach high. Well, hey, Tapp almost had that ball too. She's got a nice touch on it, but it wasn't able.
Time it's Dixon flying, but she doesn't touch anything, and the point to Penn State.
Well, she's swinging for gold there. She's trying to find some hands to do something so her team can get another point. But right now, as the score is tied, this is a good volleyball set right here.
Hugh McCutcheon saw his team against Nebraska play very tight in the first set, and then they got frustrated, fell behind, and were swept. Here's Whitman, though, off of Courtney.
Not a lot of rallies going on right now. We've got a lot of hitting and blocking. I think what we need to do on both sides is calm down, figure out your defense, go back to the scouting report, and keep the ball alive.
Scott at the 10-foot line. Good up in the back row by Santana. And again, it's Whitman in front of Courtney.
Big roll shot, nice high shot right over the block. Takes a little bit of heat off that ball, so that defensive player back there, Megan Courtney, needs to take a couple steps forward. Just misses it. Very smart.
Slay on the tip, but good coverage from Wilhite. Overpass, but there's McClendon. Scott into the block, and another stuff for Hannah Tech.
And they're ready for her. They're gravitating over to that left side pin because they know Scott's back there for a reason. She's going to get set. Micah finds her, but great timing. Nice drop by tap up there of the right hand. Middle blockers practice that every day, dropping the right hand over the net.
Block is there again for Minnesota. And they'll get a free ball. And Whitman off the block of Hancock, and Minnesota up to a 4-point lead.
And they're doing it by swinging away. Penn State is creating some errors right here, and that's in the beginning what I said they can't do. They have to have a low air night. And the first, she's fun to watch.
Kiki Jones, great up at the net as well for the Boilermakers. Should be a good one in the Boiler box on Saturday night. Scott from the 10-foot line. Hancock with a big swing, and Dixon goes off of Tori Dixon, the point to Penn State.
I like it. I like when setters attack. They need to establish themselves as a hitter. If you notice, the block wasn't even ready for her. She needs to do that consistently.
2 kills now for Micah Hancock. She had a career-high 9 kills earlier this year, and Leah Grant will check out. Carly Muller, one of the freshmen for this Penn State team, will come in to serve. Whitman immediately with the side out.
Very hard to stop. Plus, they had tap over there towards the left side position, running a fast tempo play. So Slay hesitated. And if you notice, her eyes weren't even on the hitter. And as a blocker, you really need to watch the hitter and then the ball when it's set tight.
And McClendon off the solo block attempt from Wilhite.
It was a great answer by Deja, coming back, getting that point for Penn State. Right now, they need a run to stay back there. If not, Minnesota's going to capitalize.
They have the right player serving in Micah Hancock to go on a run. Scott on the tip.
Well, I think Bowles got Micah's number right now. She's doing a good job of getting a jump on this topspin serve. But here we go with a high tip, making her move in front. So not only she has to pass, she's got to run up and dig a tip.
So this time Hancock went after Santana. The set comes from Slay. This worked once before. Palmer with the back set to Whitman, and the stuff for Penn State McClendon.
Solo block. Solo block by Deja. Great job of covering more court. If you notice, her platform's off, so the ball was out. Great reaching in. Deja's all smiles.
2-point lead now for Minnesota. They'll take a timeout. Deja would not have dropped that match, they said, so they need to get back to playing at that level. Serve causing problems. And Scott with the tip. McClendon down the line. Palmer with a good up. Good rally going here. Scott has to adjust. Block there for Minnesota. Penn State can't get to it, and the Gophers with a huge stuff.
Long rally, but it all started with that serve, but the receive. Whitman does a great job of getting those arms out in front of her, and it creates an opportunity for her team to stay in this rally.
Slay with the kill.
That's nice to see back. Slay, in the first set, she was doing that all the time. We haven't seen her do this in quite some time, and it's a transition. She needs to get to the 10-foot line so Micah can physically set her. Good
dig by Gonzalez. Courtney tips into the block. Slay with another chance for the assist, but it's out of play. Long set point to the Gophers.
Tough break for Courtney, swinging for hands up there, trying to get a touch. She will definitely adjust, and it looks like she's heading out to the game, heading out right now, and I think they're putting in Paulina. Talking it over with Russ.
Morgan Bull trying to serve out the second set at this last point. Dixon into the Penn State block. And another stuff for Slay and Prieto Saramay.
Way to get the team pumped up with a solid block. They need to create some momentum. Right now, Minnesota's got 24, so they have to keep it rolling right now on the serving line.
Penn State and Minnesota did play a deuce set in the regional final last year, and set 3 that went to Penn State. Minnesota hopes it doesn't get to that point. Tough serve from Gonzalez. And Scott keeps Penn State in it.
Way to create an opportunity for your team from Dominique Gonzalez from the serving line. Took them out of their offense. So they just were able to bring that ball and go to the bread and butter. Ariel Scott on that right side pin. Crucial point right now.
Absolutely crucial for Dominique Gonzalez serving. Minnesota still with set point. Penn State can send it to extra points if they tie it here at 24. Have to win by 2 in the set. Another tough serve. Gophers couldn't handle it. Free ball for Penn State. They go to Scott. Too much out of play, and the second set ends a win for Minnesota.
Wow. Serve receive.
More so than usual, Liz?
I don't know. I think Penn State is one of those teams that will practice serve receive to death. Not so sure about Minnesota, but I'm sure they're very fundamental based and they're doing it every day.
Hancock clips the net. Palmer goes back row to Santana. It'll be Gonzalez with the set to McClendon, and off the block and down, the point to Penn State.
Against the triple block. Nice job by Deja. Weaseling it in between the hands, but good job on Bull, just getting the ball up. You know, that serve from Mike, going back to that Mike, it slowed it down off the tape, so Bull was able to handle that pass up to the net.
Too much there from Hancock on the service error. And that'll happen when you're as aggressive as Micah Hancock is from the line. You're going to have errors that tally as well as the aces.
Well, I believe she's the only one on that Penn State squad where she has the green light to really rip it back there. No matter what the outcome, she's got the green light to serve as tough as she can.
Slay trying to get just over tap. Dig from McClendon. Excuse me, from Hancock. Here is McClendon. Tools the block.
Crafty. Nice job. Sees the block and really goes off those high hands.
Take a look at some of the numbers from Micah Hancock serving freshman year. A single season record, 91 service aces for Penn State. That was 7th all-time in a single season in the Big Ten. A little bit lower in her sophomore year. Still very strong, though, and 40 coming into this match. Still looking for her first against the Gophers. Gonzalez does not get the up. McClendon can't get it over, but the whole bench for Penn State trying to get out of the way.
It cleared. They were very fast. The fastest we've ever seen from the coaching staff. Great job of really going for this ball, not stopping at all. Nice effort.
Good effort on the part of the staff as well as the players on the floor for Penn State.
Hey, you've got to be alert.
Toying the block is Scott.
Timing. Nice job on Scott. Seeing the block this time. I think what you really need to do as a pin hitter is keep your eye on the block. If you take your eyes off their hands, sometimes you shoot for the stars. You got to go after those hands.
Great look at it there off the arm of Dolly Santana. And Whitman adds another.
Hard to handle the speed on her arm.
Met Dixon on that one. Dixon with her 10th kill.
Hard to handle. Look at that. Right away, Nia's taking a different angle for the block.
Dixon with 10 kills, 5 blocks, and 2 digs. Joust at the net comes down to the Penn State side, and Dixon results in another point for Minnesota.
She's so strong. Physically, great blockers have very strong upper body strength. Their shoulders all the way back. Very tough to stop her on a joust.
Service error from the Gophers, knots it back up at 4. Both these teams 3-1 in Big Ten play. Minnesota falling to Nebraska, Penn State falling to Michigan State. Spartans and the Huskers will meet this Saturday in East Lansing. Should be another great match in the Big Ten, but we've got a great one going here in Rec Hall, and Santana with another kill.
One-on-one opportunity. Nia left her all alone over there. Great read by Palmer. Noticing the middle blocker went the other way. Great job. You want to say, hey, thanks Palmer for setting me.
Santana with another chance to serve for the Gophers. Glendon receives that well. Courtney into the block, but Penn State can't get it over.
And Santana goes straight on with that jump serve. She always serves from middle back position in zone 6, and it goes straight on. But she created that opportunity for her team right there, where Penn State got all jumbled up right by the net.
Santana practices the serve 15 to 20 times in every practice. That time, though, into the net. Third service error now for the Gophers in the match.
Again, just trying to get a rhythm. I think that's what these servers need to do. Not a lot of runs here.
Fuller with the bump set to handcuff.
And she was able to take a little approach on that, keeping the ball in front. Again, a lefty setter can take a full swing on this attack. Great reach. She's got a lot of top spin. High snap. Excellent job by Micah, but even better job by her pass.
Dixon off the slide, though, for another kill. Dixon will head back to serve. Second on this team in aces behind Dolly Santana. Whistle goes against the Gophers, and we see that double contact again called against Minnesota.
Yeah, hard to believe Howard's a setter. So I'm surprised they called it on her, but a lot of times the officials will be quick with that whistle when those hands go up off of a fast play.
Another service error and a point to Minnesota. So now both teams with 3 service errors in this match, and some sloppy play here in the third set. I mentioned the attack errors were an issue in the first 2 sets for both of these teams. Now service errors coming into play. Hancock looking for another. Wilhite puts it down.
Great range by these pin hitters for Minnesota. Not only can Dixon swing from all areas, but Wilhite is really getting it done with that seam. Katie Slay really is up there nice and high. Wilhite is not afraid of those arms.
Slay not afraid of the arms as well as she goes off them.
No, she's not. It's good to see her up there attacking.
CK Katie Slay trying to get her team going. She was the one talking to them heading into the 5th set against Purdue. Katie Slay looked her teammates in the eyes and said, let's go, let's finish this match, and they did. Oh, able to receive that again. Here's Whitman. McClendon is stuffed.
Nice job by Bull by getting this ball up. She's getting a lot of opportunities from Hancock because Hancock is serving right in zone 6 where Bull is. And Courtney's a little slow to get on this dig, but look at this block. Whitman doesn't move at all, just her hands over the net.
13 blocks now for Minnesota. 7 for Penn State. Scott on the left side connects.
I like the speed, and Scott is an opposite. So what you saw right there, she's hitting on the left side, a little different look. It's harder for blockers to get used to her because now she's swinging on the left side, outside her body line. Great shot by Scott.
17 kill effort for Ariel Scott. One off her season high, which she had against Michigan State. Pierce serving for the Nittany Lions. Scott still on the left side, and another kill.
I'd like her on the left side. I'm glad they kept her out there. I was just going to say, Mike, I'd like to see her on the left side a little bit more. Very smart. Great job by Micah finding her. Strong hit.
Here's the sophomore from Eden, New York, a DS for this Penn State team. Keeping Minnesota out of system. Hancock to Slay, and the solo block for Hannah Tapp.
Great job by Minnesota, staying on a system and getting it done. And Penn State, on the other hand, needs to execute. When their server takes that team out of position, they need to execute on that ball.
Hannah Tapp, a freshman from Stewartville, Minnesota, on the team with her twin sister, Paige Tapp, but you can tell the differences. Hannah has the dark hair, Paige has the light hair. And Hannah, 4th in the Big Ten in blocks per set during conference play so far this year. She has another as she goes to the bench. Free ball chance for the Nittany Lions. And Slay off the block.
Away from the setter, a 31. The set is called a 31, where it's still a fast tempo, but it's away from the setter, closer to the left side pin. It forces the middle blocker on the other team to move their feet.
And Dixon off the shoulder of Hancock. Not much you can do with that ball.
No, you can't. She's going off 1 foot behind the setter. They work so well together that she knows exact height what she needs in order to score and no block.
Wilhite to serve for the Gophers. Mia Grant right back for the Nittany Lions. Eighth tie in the 3rd set between these two teams. We knew we were in for a good one, and we've seen it so far in Rec Hall.
It's a side-out game right now.
It off the slide, not much you can do about it.
No, and I'm surprised Mia Grant did not go with Dixon on that ball. If I was a middle blocker on Penn State, I would follow Dixon no matter where she went. And Courtney does a nice job of trying to get a touch on that. Dixon's just too tough.
423 tonight, hitting .463 on the season, 5th in the nation. Another chance for Santana. Good up by McClendon, but Hancock is going to be whistled for the double contact.
Really trying to go for that ball. It's going to get called. And actually, the official's been very fair on both sides of the net tonight on that.
2-point lead for the Gophers in the 3rd set. Minnesota won set 2, 25-23. It's close to being a deuce set, but Ariel Scott had an attack error on set point. Minnesota won it 25-23. Penn State took the first 25-19 in what was a dominant set for the Nittany Lions. Courtney gets the back line.
Right side attack by Courtney, keeps the ball in front of her, hits that back line. Great outside hitter shot, having the range to be able to hit cross court, but deep line and Bull was too shallow on that ball.
And Hancock still going to Courtney despite the 6 kills and 5 errors. She was hitting 0 until that last kill. Tip from McClendon falls.
Well, she's listening to her coverage right there. And what's happening is that Deja hears her teammates yell, tip, open, over the block. She listens, and she does it, and she finds success.
Dixon again on the slide, and Penn State had McClendon as well as Ayana.
Time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Third set in Rec Hall in University Park, Pennsylvania, tied at 21. Matches tied at 1 set apiece between number 11 Minnesota and number 4 Penn State. Liz, tell us the strategy here. 4 points to go, possibly in this third set. What does each coach say to their team?
Well, this is the best part. They both have strategies going into after this timeout. Who you're going to set, what defense you're going to gear up for. Obviously, if Dixon's in the front row, you're going to gear up for her.
And Whitney out of the timeout with a point for Penn State.
Nice job. Courtney came in for a middle attack, really did a nice job of faking that, and Micah ended up setting the second tempo, created a little hesitation by Dixon. Way to get it done by Whitney.
Brianna Whitney redshirted last year. She's a sophomore out of Norwood, New Jersey, 2011 New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year, but just her first kill of the Big Ten season at a big moment. Hancock with the swing, Minnesota ready. Whitney going for another, but Whitman with the up. Courtney on the tip. And the Gophers outside the antenna, so the ball out of play, the point to Penn State.
Great effort on both sides of the net, but opportunities arise out of great defense. And this is what happened. Megan Courtney really did a nice job right over the block. Minnesota struggled to get that ball up. It does happen. It does happen in the Big Ten.
It happens, but 5 in one day.
It is. That's a lot. That's a lot. But I have to say, the second day of play, the legs are tired. Okay, volleyball takes a toll on your bodies, and I think the points go longer, the sets go longer.
And a long set here in the third as Palmer can't connect with Dixon, and it's set point for Penn State. Not what Hugh McCutcheon wanted out of that timeout. Palmer goes back to Dixon, but the block for the Nittany Lions as they take the third.
Way to read the scouting report. Way to listen to the coaches. They knew exactly where that ball was going, and they were ready for it.
And after not having a string of 3 points throughout that entire set until the last 4, it was 4 in a row for Penn State as they go up 2-1 in Rec Hall. I mentioned all the kills for Ariel Scott, but obviously the third set would have been different had Penn State won the second. She had a swing to tie it up in the second set, but had the air. Either way, she is still contributing in a big way for Penn State tonight. Gophers probably go back to Dixon a lot in this fourth set. Slay out of the gates with the first kill, the fourth.
Good job. Establish the middle right away, and both teams need to do this. They need to keep moving those middle blockers, keep them guessing.
Too much from Hancock, and as you said, Liz, just not the night for Hancock or Dolly Santana serving.
It's not, and you can imagine how many times she practices that serve, especially even today, leading into this match.
Back to Slay, kill number 11 for Katie Slay.
Good answer from Micah to go to Slay after that serving error. She fixed it by setting her middle.
as Courtney could not keep that ball off the net.
Wilhite just pounds away. It's nice to see her performing so well as a freshman, especially in an environment like Rec Hall.
7 kills now for Sarah Wilhite, 4 blocks and 6 digs. Santana off the block.
They just like to play it close. Side out, side out, side out.
We talked about anxiety before. I don't know if the coaches would like to play it that close. Tough serve from the Gophers. Whitman will set to Wilhite. And the roll shot falls.
Katie Slay's not there, so Megan Courtney's all alone. So all smiles with Wilhite right now. It's nice as a hitter to only hit against 1 block, and she's even off balance there.
Production said she's brought stability to the right side of the net for the Gophers, and going forward, she might have won that job as the starting right side for Minnesota. Taking over for Catherine Harms, the first-team All-American last year. Slay was arguing that ball hit the line. Officials say no.
Well, she's right there, but unfortunately for her, the officials saw it as well. Off of 1 foot, hang time is a little early, so she's got to wait for that ball to come down and really reach high.
Whitman out of the back row into the triple block.
Nice job on executing out of that out-of-system play. Again, teams watch for this all the time. Again, triple block by the middles and Courtney. Way to get it done.
6'6" and Slay, 6'4", and Scott, 6'2", and Courtney. Tough block. Ball still in play. Penn State thought it was down. Scott with another, but no, didn't touch anything, hit the net and out of play.
So don't stop playing until the whistle is blown. I think you've learned that in Volleyball 101. Keep it going.
Flipping the net was Ariel Scott, 6'3" lead for the Gophers, and Wilhite from the service line. Hancock has to run it down. Whitney with the swing and not over the net, so Minnesota 4-point advantage in the 4th.
Nice hustle by Micah, but their passing needs to get back on target so they get their middles involved. Great run by Minnesota right now, and this is what they need. This is that buffer we were talking about. It fuels the confidence. Everyone steps up their level of play on that side of the net.
Wilhite with a good serve out of system for Penn State, creates the free ball. Howard with the set to Santana. All Gophers so far in the 4th.
A lot of one-on-one opportunities for Minnesota, and they are capitalizing on that.
We now move ahead in the action.
20-18 lead for Minnesota as they try to send it to a 5th set. Penn State looking to avoid their second 5-set match at home this season. Hancock saw her not get the ace on that last serve, but still created the point for Penn State.
They did. Bowl got it right in the high chest. Very tough ball to reserve.
Out of play on the air by Hancock.
That's a tough one. Out of a timeout, that's very tough to go back there and miss your serve for anybody.
Almost icing the server there. McClendon comes through again for Penn State.
Not only she's blocking, she's hitting. She's getting it done up there. She's going to the backcourt right now, so I have a feeling they might find her in the back row. But seam opportunity, she's fighting for this team right now to win the set.
So McClendon will check out. And she is a big reason why Penn State is within 2 points in this 4th. The blocks that she had, 2 solo stuffs against Dixon, and coming through with a number of kills as well in the 4th set. Wilhite is stuffed.
look at the serve and went exactly to Whitman, and it forced Palmer to set behind, and the block was already shading there, ready for that big hit.
Minnesota led 15-7 at one point in this fourth set. It's down to 1. Santana into the block. Wilhite tried to tip. Hancock just sends it over. Great up by Gonzalez. Another chance for Wilhite off the block. Santana tools the Penn State block for the Gophers.
Great rally. Excellent volleyball right there. Megan Courtney, good job off the block, keeping the ball alive. But Santana, with a 1-foot takeoff, barely got back in transition and just ripped it. She's such a competitor.
Tremendous volleyball between these two teams in Rec Hall tonight as we come down to the end of the fourth. Courtney off the block and down.
Megan Courtney, where have you been? Great job. Where'd she find that confidence? Maybe from the defense she was doing before.
The 8 kills for Megan Courtney, a number of errors for her, but you said it, the defense has been there, the blocks, and she gets a vital kill for Penn State. Out of play, the service air.
Tough break right now. Minnesota's got to capitalize on this.
A really
From
tough
the serving
call
line.
for Minnesota to let it go. And it was the right decision.
They're smart. They were right there, and that's what you learn. You follow the ball out all the way.
Gophers 2 points from taking the fourth and sending this to the 5th set. And a timeout for Russ Rose and his Penn State team. Fourth set in Happy Valley. Minnesota on top, 23-21.
Get the last word before your team is ready for game day as we break down every big matchup and take you on campus for the latest updates. The BTN Football Report, presented by 5-Hour Energy. Friday, only on BTN. Tuesday night, our panel of Big Ten insiders debate the hottest issues in college football and discuss how the nation's biggest stories impact the conference. Big Ten football and beyond. Tuesday night, only on BTN.
Strong storm.
Z left flank, 18 slant.
$4.99 Oscar.
Let's face it, football is complicated.
This stuff isn't easy.
He runs a 16-yard in cut.
A high corner route, you're going to pull your guard around.
They're going to start inside and read the secondary.
Block back with the center. And if that's muddy, we're going to outflank and hit that swing.
In, under, check down. From the pregame show to the final drive. BTN definitely has you covered.
Minnesota led 15-7 in this fourth set. Penn State clawed their way all the way back, but now the Gophers 2 points away from winning the fourth and sending it to a decisive 5th set. Penn State coming out of the timeout. And it will be the freshman for the Gophers in Sarah Wilhite with a huge serve for this Minnesota team.
Who wants to get it done right here? And this is what it comes down to. Who wants the ball?
It'll be Scott. Santana. Put up by Gonzalez. Scott this time puts a swing on the ball. Two Penn State players run into each other, and the point falls for Minnesota.
Santana swinging away. Solid defense. Very steady play by Minnesota.
Set point for the Gophers. Tori Dixon and Ashley Whitman, the seniors in this starting lineup for Minnesota, have only known one victory against Penn State in their collegiate careers. They want to get a chance to go to 5 and possibly pull off this upset. Whitney finds the floor.
Nice job putting her on the left side, which she is an outside hitter. And a lot of times she's playing middle, so she knows how to swing those high balls. Goes after the arm of Dixon.
Still set point for Minnesota. Lacey Fuller in to serve for the Nittany Lions. Santana off the block, and that'll do it in the fourth. We're going to 5.
You go out there, you give it your all, you play for every point. This is a new match.
Race to 15 in set number 5 between the number 11 team and the number 4 team in the nation. Morgan ball. The overpass created. McClendon with the first point of the 5th.
Great fast point opportunity. This is what we've been waiting for all night, for that ball to bounce off those arms. Opportunity for Deja to just get on top of it.
Slay on the tip over, and it falls for Penn State, the 2-0 lead.
It's a misconnection, but like I said before, set it up high enough for that 6'6" Slay to just reach and grab it. Very tough to dig right over the blocker's body.
Good start for Penn State in the 5th. They had 8 kills and 0 errors against Purdue in the 5th on Saturday. Wilhite is blocked. The ball goes off the Minnesota freshman. 3-0 lead for Penn State.
Ariel Scott is right there waiting for her. Wilhite still has a smile on her face. I bet she's saying, set me again. I can do it better this time. On. Nice job by Ariel Scott getting it done.
Scott was huge in that 5th set against Purdue. She had 1 kill and 3 blocks against the Boilermakers. Serve from Hancock keeps Minnesota out of system. Slay with another.
I think what's really important coming out of that timeout, Micah got the job done. Sorry, Mike. She got her serve in. That's what I wanted to say. And she said Slay again, which I like. Nice job.
Katie Slay motivated this team on Saturday. She's got a couple of kills here already in the 5th. And a tap trying to get the side out for Minnesota. Whistle goes against Hancock.
Sometimes those hitters can't get out of the way fast enough. It's a fast play. Great defensive dive by Megan Courtney. Micah's trying to get to the ball. Transition needs to be a lot faster.
4-1 lead. Minnesota finally with their first point in the 5th. We will switch sides when one team reaches 8 points. Slay again.
Away from the center. Wilhite has really got to read that set and shade and put her hands over the block. Tough thing to practice. You got to do it day in and day out. Slay cross-body shot. Oh, she's all fired up. Nice job to get her team pumped up for that.
Slay now with a season-high 14 kills, goes along with another 8 blocks, just like she had on Saturday. Pierce to serve for Penn State. Slay, that 10-foot line. Scott. And the stop. Scott and Slay combined.
Well, it started with the serve, and Minnesota really got out of system. Bowles wasn't able to get the ball to Palmer, and on that play, I think Palmer just decided too late who she was going to set. Minnesota needs to get something going right here, and it starts with the pass.
See Katie Slay saying, let's go, as Penn State's up 6-1 in the 5th. Hugh McCutcheon trying to get his team to rally. He talked about weathering some of these runs by Penn State, but you can't really weather a run in the 5th set.
No, you can't. And you need the passing and the confidence of the set.
So far in the 5th set, Katie Slay with 2 kills and 2 blocks. So involved for the Nittany Lions. 4 points so far for her in the 5th. Numbers as Penn State has climbed back in the block category, just behind Minnesota by 1 block, 17-16 lead for the Gophers. Penn State has owned this series. But Minnesota, as we saw earlier in the match, their last win came in 5 sets in the Sports Pavilion. They are capable of putting together a run, especially if you get Santana back there and she gets going on her serve. Hasn't happened so far tonight, but she's still capable of it.
Definitely. And on the fourth set, Minnesota did a nice job of taking Penn State out of system. Unfortunately for them, Penn State is earning all their points right now. They're going up, hitting strong, they're blocking, they're serving tough.
Tonight, another great example of how good this conference is. The best in the nation by far, with 8 teams ranked in the top 25, and you're seeing 2 of the best in the country tonight. Tap in the middle. Courtney gets there. Santana off the block.
Way to make a difference. A little bit more speed for Santana and height at the end, which she needs in order to score.
14 kills now for Dolly Santana. Santana, Whitman, and Dixon all in double figures. Ball to serve. Courtney tools the block.
She's up there high and early, but unfortunately for Minnesota, their block is up there high and early. She took advantage of that and went off her outside hands and swiped away crossbody.
Gonzalez missed on that service error back in the fourth, keeps this one in. And Dixon is stuffed. An 8-2 lead for Penn State in the fifth.
So a little timing is off, which is unusual for these two. They've got their act together all night until this point. I know Dixon is probably upset right now because she's used to putting those balls away.
Seen great fight from both of these teams throughout the evening. Does Minnesota have one more fight in them here in the fifth? Penn State's 7 points away from taking the match and winning back-to-back 5-setters in the Big Ten. And Dixon goes over Courtney.
Way to catch that corner back there. Again, her range is amazing, and she can do that all night if they get the pass and they go against the grain. The set needs to go against the grain to give her a little bit of relief from the block.
Costly service error for the Gophers. Next, after the conclusion of this match, the Journey Big Ten Football 2013. It's a 9-3 lead for Penn State. Fuller will serve for the Nittany Lions. Only 2 losses of the year for Penn State have come in 5 sets to Michigan State and Texas. Trying to close it out in the fifth against Minnesota. Santana asking for the touch call. She gets it.
I think we heard it. It was a strong hit off those hands. I believe of Micah. Let's watch it here. Yep, just barely. Maybe the pinkies of both of them. I can see where there would be some questionable call there. But good job by Santana getting it done.
Now she'll try to get it done from the service line. Pass from Gonzalez. Joust met at the net, won by Dixon.
Hard to go against Dixon on the joust for Micah. Not only their size difference, but strength as well. And Micah's pretty strong, but Dixon had the one-up on her. Good timing by Dixon and kind of wrist away, go away from the block.
Four-point deficit for the Gophers. Courtney on the right side. It's blocked out of play.
Perfect pass by Dominique right there. Again, Santana from middle back, straight away, right down the center. But look at that platform by Dominique. Textbook platform on a jump serve, receive. Doesn't move her arms at all.
Dixon can't leave her feet there, doesn't. Whitman, though, able to convert for the Gophers.
Ooh, she got it right in the face there. I'm going to have to talk to the block about that. Definitely got Minnesota fired up.
17-kill performance for Ashley Whitman to go along with 22 digs. She led this team in digs last year, leading them tonight. Hancock with the swing on two. Howard will set back to Whitman. Scott into the net. Minnesota coming back here in the fifth.
A lot of miscommunication going on by Penn State, and I don't know if it's just they're out of system or they don't trust Micah's going to get that ball, but they need to back off and let that setter handle that ball.
Timeout for the Nittany Lions, up 10-7. Give us some fifth set strategy here, Liz. Tell us, in the fifth set, what are these coaches telling their teams?
Well, right now, Minnesota's going to work really hard to stay on that serving line. And what they're doing well is taking Penn State out of their comfort zone. They're making them move a lot. And right now, Micah's not liking that at all because her teammates are not listening to her. On the flip side, Penn State has 10 points. And in the fifth set, that is huge. That's a lot of confidence. That's double digits. You see the end in sight, but you just have to go point for point and do what's best for your team. Take care of the ball on your side of the court.
Talking with Steve Ayer, the assistant coach for Penn State this week, he said this team so close to still being the #1 team in the nation with the exception of those 2 5-set losses to Texas and Michigan State. In a battle here in the fifth tonight against Minnesota, trying to close out their second 5-set win of the year. It's a 10-7 advantage. Penn State led 9-3. The Gophers on a 4-1 run here in the fifth. Micah Hancock trying to talk to her. Hitters get on the same page. Penn State, everybody back this year, all the experience. Minnesota with a lot of experience as well, but the young players on the road in the fifth set. Tough for them to play in this atmosphere, but they've come through so far. Does not go down. Whitman with another chance. Great up by Gonzalez. McClendon on the tip. The ball is down according to the official.
Way to go. Way to read that defense right there. She's doing a great job either listening to her bench or for her coverage right behind her. But Dominique, dig, dig, dig. Great night for her putting that ball up in the air. That was a huge point for either side.
A well-deserved high five from Russ Rose as Gonzalez heads over to the bench. Penn State 4 points from taking the match. Laura Caraway into the match, into the net. So tough to come off the bench and serve.
These are all nail biters, Mike.
It will be Palmer for Minnesota to serve. Whitman off the block. Courtney with the coverage. Flipping the net and out of play. The point to Minnesota.
Getting it done. Minnesota's, again, taking them out of their comfort zone. Ariel Scott was not comfortable hitting that pitch. She was trying to go for that ball before that Megan Courtney had. Unfortunately, rolled off the tape.
State goes back to Slay, and Minnesota back within a point.
Here we go. It's close again.
We would expect nothing less after the match we've seen so far.
Right between her and the net. If she just creates a little bit of space, she's going to be able to swing hard and get a kill for her team.
Hancock with the tough set to Slay, and she gets her team going again.
What she did, she jump set on a three-point pass. It forced the block to go up with Micah right there. If you notice, one-on-one. Good job by Katie Slay swinging to score.
She started the 5th set well and gets another. Hancock back to serve. Palmer to Whitman on the right. Huge side out for Minnesota.
Huge side out. You got it. Great pass off of Micah's serve to create an opportunity for Whitman to score. She's a gamer.
Back to Slay. And with the exception of one swing, Slay in the 5th set, very effective for Penn State.
Very effective. She's getting open and ready. That was an off pass by Deja right there, and I love how Micah fed her the ball and forced an opportunity for a point.
Katie Slay with 16 kills. That ties a career high for her, and Penn State 2 points from taking the match. Slay was the motivator on Saturday, heading into the 5th against Purdue. This time she's producing in the 5th for Penn State. Santana the stuff for Penn State, and it's match point.
Woo! Wow.
Penn State tries to end it with Pierce serving. Palmer in the middle of a whistle against the Gophers. And the point to Penn State. They win the match in 5 and hold off Minnesota.
Wow. That is a tough way to end for Minnesota. They were competitors tonight, but unfortunately for Palmer, it didn't go her way. They called her in the net, but Slay is right there, just like she was all set.
Penn State able to hold on and win in 5 sets against Minnesota, and the Nittany Lions improved to 4-1 in Big Ten play. That is going to do it for us. Penn State defeats Minnesota 3-2, winning the 5th, the 1st, and the 3rd set. Coming up next on BTN, it's the journey.
Well, can they keep the momentum going that they